I ask for, right? Boom. And that is finally live. Awesome. Well, we're going to try something new here. See if the video quality is a little. I'm already looking at it going, yeah, the video quality is a lot better than it was using my computer, which is only 720. And this, I'm using an old cell phone here, and that's 1080p. So that's that. So we'll get this rolling here. Let's see, where are my notes? Okay, boom, that one there, and new cam set up. All right, oh, good. Okay. Oh, well, it's going to be a bit different. New live streaming setup. We've got some double workouts. Sanya, 80,000 tourists stuck on the island. Traveling and tourism, is it the same? And yes, Ukraine has hit Crimea. It is Wednesday, August 10th, 2022. I'm Steven Sersky. Hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, I'm trying out this. There's actually a new little setup I have here for my live stream. I still have my old cell phone, and I'm holding on to it because it's one of these things where you never know, right? I have all the old apps on it just in case something were to happen. Well, today I figured out, I dawned on me for some reason. I don't know why I didn't realize this before, but I can use this second cell phone, or my old cell phone, as a webcam. And you might ask, well, oh, that sounds easy. I mean, yeah, of course, why not? It's not that easy. These things don't just connect as webcams. You need special software for it. And since I run a MacBook on the Apple software, or like an Apple Mac, it doesn't recognize Android, or at least the software that's made for a lot of Android phones to work on PCs and stuff like that. They're not cross-platform. So you're kind of SOL when it comes to using it on the Mac. But there is one program that does work, and it's called Camo Studio. It's Cam Studio, and it's the Camo Webcam app. It's free. I think there's a watermark somewhere. I'm not sure. But for what it's worth, free. I've been able to hook up my old phone to my computer, and I have my external microphone also hooked up to my computer, and this is now my new streaming setup. So I don't have to move. You know how last week I was complaining about having to shift around everything in my setup just to shoot the live stream, not to mention the assisted connection devices issues from last week. So now I can just plug in one cable box that I have here and put it right into my computer and just get going a whole lot quicker than I was able to before. Maybe not entirely quicker, but it's a lot. It looks a lot better, and I think it's going to sound a lot better as well. And I think I've sort of made the decision that what I'm going to do with these audio blogs in the live stream format, I'm going to shift these over to a new channel, and then separate those from the podcast channel as well. And then that way it's going to sort of be, wow, maybe I still haven't decided. Yeah, I should really make a firm decision on which one to do. But that way, I mean, for now, I am posting these on my regular YouTube channel. You can see them. You can go have a good laugh at what I'm doing. And look at some of the old videos. The first couple of videos that I made, they're all dark and grainy and everything. That's because those were shot on my MacBook, which is a 720p camera, whereas this one, the cell phone, goes up with the cell phone and this Reincubate Camo Studio software. It shoots 1080. I could use the cell phone audio. It sounded okay before, but I've decided to hook up my Zoom H41 also to put into the computer, and I think that will be my setup for now. And that way, this also enables me to do a few other things that I want to get done. It is only shooting 1080, and I say only because I also have a new iPad that I thought I could shoot 4K with, but I can't. So for live streaming, it might have to be 1080p right now, which is probably a better thing for my internet connection anyway. So that's that. But yeah, YouTube channel, and I will also put this on my website as well. You can actually see for the show notes of these audio blogs that I'm creating. I have put the live stream link on my website. So if you're not around, because I do shoot this at I don't have a solidified time for the live broadcasts. Um, I'd love to, but I'm horrible at commitment that way. So that way I'll just put the links up there. If you want to have a look after, that's great. That way also people, if they find it that way, they can check out what, I'm talking about. Watch me on YouTube instead if they want, or download the podcast as well, because the podcast available for MP3 on my website. You can also watch the video, or you can go through anchor.fm/Steven Sersky. That's where I host these audio blogs. All right. So happy hump day to you folks. And double workouts in, felt pretty good. I actually managed to get this morning, again, first snooze, second snooze. I was out of bed by 6:10 or so. So that was good. I was like, again, if I can get going early, I can be back early. Now, the one thing that changed today was that I didn't get back any earlier, only that I added one more round. So typically on Wednesdays, I run for 2 miles. And then I do this, what I call skipping balls workout. And it's 1 minute skipping and then 1 minute medicine ball workout. And that includes like wall balls, like throwing the ball up in the air, side wall balls. I guess you'd call them like fake slams. I don't slam the ball because I don't want to wreck my medicine ball outside and slam it on all the bird shit that's all over the place. So I hold on to it, and it actually strains the muscles even more. So I do a couple of those, and I do that for 12 rounds. Well, today I went through a second round of that, but I changed up the medicine ball workout so it wasn't as cardio intensive. And yeah, that was good. I mean, it was, 'cause when I finished the first round, it was like 10 after 7 or quarter after 7. I'm like, that's it. I'm done already. I don't really feel like I've worked out very much. So I'm like, okay, well, go do another round and then cool down, sort of thing. So that's what I did. I was able to do 2 rounds of this skipping balls workout, and then get back and do a little bit of stretching before work commenced. So that was good. This afternoon, again, with the 2 miles and then the slow and 20 that I try to do, I find it a little bit easier. Sort of like I think this is even going to be even better for the winter months when it's going to be colder. And I will probably have to go for a run to warm up, even though I'll be outside and it's be cold. But then to come back in and do just 20 minutes slow of different kettlebell workouts. And today I actually had these 2 sliders. I bought a couple sliders for the floor. I know I was ragging on them a couple weeks ago, but they turned out to be very good because the packaging comes with a bunch of exercises that you can do. So I was trying them out, and yeah, wow, it's all body weight, and you're just sliding around on these little discs. And yeah, it was enough. I mean, I did 30 minutes of that body weight and some kettlebell workouts as well. So that was a good double workout today as well. Vocab review, crunching through these HSK 5 lists. The one that gets me, actually, it's kind of bothers me sometimes with the countries. So trying to learn all the countries' names and things like that. Now I am being introduced to a lot of new characters this way through looking at the country names. And I remember mentioning this to one of my students before, who was trying to teach me many years ago. I was like, well, could you just teach me like what the subway stations means? And she's like, no, they don't mean anything. I'm like, okay. And so that we went back to writing characters like the way that she had learned how to write characters, and how she learned Hanzi and Chinese throughout her school life. So I've been looking at these country names, and yeah, it is helpful in terms of learning new characters. Is this something that I would recommend for newbies to the Chinese language, I don't know, because um, they're not very common characters. So some of them are, but a lot of them are sort of used in very well, a few more special circumstances. So they're not regularly used. So it wouldn't be as useful for someone who's just starting the Chinese language. You got to start sort of at the basics. I would say basics would be HSK 2 or 3. You can start at HSK 3 if you've never had any. HSK 2 would be a good start. HSK 1, I don't know. HSK 1's kind of, yeah, I don't know. I guess you do have to start at HSK 1 because if you've never done Mandarin Chinese before, it's a whole new experience. But HSK 3, if you've been in the country or if you know anything about China, you've looked at the language before, even a little bit of experience with it, then you'll certainly HSK 3 would be a good starting point as well. It'll be tough, but you could get through it. San Yao, yeah, I said 18,000. No, I was wrong. 80,000 tourists are not stranded; they're stuck because, like I said yesterday, with the flights turning back mid-flight, they have shut down the island basically, and no one's allowed to come in or go. If you go in, you can't leave, sort of thing. Which is pretty common for this dynamic. Well, this is pretty common for the COVID measures throughout the country, and that I'm not sure how expensive flights are. I'm not even sure if you can depart the country, the island just yet. So it's one of these things where, good question. If you're stuck there, how long do you have to stay there? Not a bad place to be stuck. It's nice. It's probably very hot right now, and it's always hot for like the next long time. So maybe it might suck, but I don't know. I mean, being stuck in a hot climate might be nicer than being stuck in a colder climate, right? I'm guessing. Also saw that this tour group that I was going to go with on the cycling trip at some point, I don't know, they have also issued a notice about going to Tibet. If you're in Tibet, if you're planning to go to Tibet, if you are en route to Tibet, things like that. So they are sort of saying we have to wait and see. If you're not in the province just yet, or the part of the country just yet, then let's wait and see. If you are planning to go to that part of the country soon, like anytime in the next couple of days, because they have tours going all the time, you might have to check the entry requirements, because it might be that once you get in, you can't leave, sort of thing. And you'd have to gauge whether or not you want to take that risk. So how is it going to play out? I mean, the big claim to fame for Tibet these days is that it went 920 or 960 days without a COVID case. I mean, it's kind of easy when the whole country shut down and no one's traveling anywhere. And then all of a sudden 22 new cases showed up, right? Oh, and this variant, that's what it is. It's a sub-A, BA.5.1.3 subvariant. It's the most highly contagious subvariant yet, but mild symptoms. It's like the same story over and over again. So I don't know. Maybe they're just copy pasting the news release. It could be, because it doesn't make sense that every new subvariant is highly contagious, but it's mild, and so they're shutting down everything. This is it baffles me. Was thinking now that I'm 10 years ago, had I would never have thought of going on a packaged tour group anywhere. I would have just gone by myself, because if you did the numbers, like these tours that I would go on, it's going to cost 6,000 RMB, so just over $1,000 Canadian for a week, that means it's like 900 quiet a day, and plus flights, plus visas and all that stuff, right? Permits and stuff. I mean, it's going to hit 9,000 renminbi, almost $2,000 just to go for a week. Whereas for $2,000 or 10,000 renminbi, I can go very far on my own, and I used to do that quite a bit. But now with these cycling trips and these treks, these are guided tours through. Like, I wouldn't do these on my own. Like, I wouldn't go trek through mountains on my own. I wouldn't go cycling across Inner Mongolia on my own. And the reason why is because I haven't done those things before. Now, if I go do one or two of these trips, I might understand sort of how these things work, what I should prepare, and how I can deal with things on the road. But it's good to go with tour groups if you're inexperienced and you're not used to these sorts of situations. But if it's just backpacking, like you don't have any final destination, you don't have any timeline, and you just have a couple weeks off, I would say just go. I don't know. Are they the same? Traveling and tourism. I know there was a big kerfuffle years ago when who was it? Paul Thoreau. I guess it's one of his earlier books. He mentioned something. It was at the Grand Bazaar, the Orient Express or something like that. One the Grand Railway Bazaar, something like that. He mentions like tourists only see what's in front of them, but travelers see the world. Or it was some very simplified look at how you could have your tour group people, and then you'd have your travelers, like your backpackers almost, but the people who are not being sold the package. And that comment that he made was actually more targeted at the tourism groups that were packaging these offers, these deals, to see like all these different sites in one day, and it'd be like a speedy affair, and you'd barely have time to sort of think about where you were, let alone experience and enjoy where you are. And so the intent was to sort of slow down travel, take in the moment a little bit more, see with your eyes, not just your credit card sort of thing, and your camera, and be able to really smell where you are. And I think was it Mark Twain who said, you don't know a place until you've smelled it. Maybe it wasn't Mark Twain, it was somebody else, but it's another famous saying that one of those things where do you really know a place unless you can describe its smell? Good point. And yes, now Ukraine has, it was all over Instagram and Twitter where they were boasting this airfield got bombed in Crimea. Now, Crimea has been annexed by Russia for the last 8 years, since 2014. And so Ukrainians are celebrating that there was an explosion at this airfield. Now, Russians have come out and said it was just a fire. We weren't bombed. It's a fire. The plume of smoke, that's a pretty big fire. That's very reminiscent of like the explosions that they're causing around the country. So yeah, basically they're not saying the truth. Now, the problem. So there's two things that this is a feel good moment for a lot of Ukrainian hyphenates around the world, and Ukrainians around the world. Striking back, fighting back against the aggressor, and it's true because it does make a stand. Now, the issue with this, number one, the Russians will hit other places harder. Right, so they have, and they've been doing it. Now they just step up the attacks. Go times 10 instead of times 3. The other problem is that with Crimea being a disputed territory, it's one thing for the Ukrainians to use the weapons that were given by either NATO, its allies, the US, or someone else, right? That's one thing. But if it's not disputed and it is Russian territory, and let's get away from Crimea and go to another part of Russia. Like if Ukrainians started lobbing bombs or missiles into Russian territory using that technology, well, you can guess how that's going to escalate. Russia would take it as an act of war, that it is NATO encroaching upon its territory, which is what he was saying don't do for all these years, even though I remember talking about that a couple months ago, and that seems to even be a little bit more of a Russian propaganda and a Russian angle of things, a Russian political angle of things, rather than some of the other reasons why Russia decided to hit Ukraine the way it has. So that being the case, if Ukraine goes ahead and keeps on bombing, and bombing Crimea is one thing, but if all of a sudden they try to go bomb another island over, another state or province over, they might find themselves, they might unwittingly draw the European Union and the US into another global conflict. I mean, I laugh, but oops, I said press 7, not 6, and now the coordinates are wrong, and there goes the missile. Oh, can we unsend? How do you unsend a missile? Very difficult to do. It's not like email. Remember the days when email couldn't be unsent? So yeah, that's how things can sort of escalate, and why one of the reasons why you might not see Ukraine hitting any further afield into Russian territory is because if they are using um, allied, like NATO supplied technology, then going any farther than Crimea, because Crimea is disputed. Um, it's disputed by the rest of the world. It's not disputed by anybody. I mean, Russia disputes it, but Ukraine's like, it's our land. What are you doing there? Russia's like, it's our land. What are you doing there? Everybody else is kind of like, what are you guys arguing about? So that's disputed. But Russian territory as it is, not disputed. Donbass, which is in Ukraine, disputed, belongs to Ukraine, taken over by Russia. So those would be one area that they could hit, but they can't go any further. So this is is it a feel good moment, or is it like, let's hope it doesn't get any worse than this, because yeah, one stray missile would be misinterpreted or be reinterpreted, and it would not be very good. All right, folks, I'm going to leave it there. Show notes, tracks, and vids up on my website, stevewyszynski.com. Hope you guys are doing well, staying cool here in the Beijing, and being able to enjoy some of the sunny days that we have coming up for the rest of the week. And let's hope this sub-variant doesn't drag on too long, because, yeah, it'd be nice to get out of the city at least once when the weather's still nice, right? I still don't know where I'd go. I mean, I guess the next trip I'd take is in September, maybe October, but we'll see. All right. Thanks for listening, folks. Thanks for watching, and we will talk again. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.